G'day folks, welcome back to the Hang Loose Reclise show. In today's episode, we've got a special guest reporter, Maria Zeee, reporting for the Hang Loose Reclise show on the Australian government's misinformation bullshit bill. Thank you. Let's go to Maria now so she can explain Australia's misinformation bill that the government's trying to sneak through the sneaky pricks. Stay tuned for our roving reporter, Maria Zeee, on the Hang Loose Reclise show. You're watching the Hang Loose Reclise show. Take it away, Maria. What have you got to tell us?
Most of the world has been celebrating a Trump victory this week because they know change is coming. Among the top of his promises is to end the destructive war on information by going after the censorship industrial complex, especially done under the guise of the labels mis and disinformation. Meanwhile, in Australia, an ally of the US, the Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, who presents as being on good terms with President-elect Donald Trump, has utilised the distraction of the US election along with his party to ram through legislation that will be the end of free speech in Australia. The Combating Misinformation and Disinformation Bill is the most authoritarian piece of legislation ever seen in the history of the West. It seeks to criminalise regular Australians for things such as questioning the stability of the economy, saying things that the government, which will become the sole arbiter of truth, disagrees with, and even more outrageous, criminalise even criticism of the government. This is an abhorrent, zero-trust model that
Hang Loose Reclise
has been warning about for years now, from the appointment of Julie Inman-Grant as e-safety commissioner and our early warnings of the extreme power she was being given, to our reporting on the Australian government following a Bill Gates and United Nations model of a universal digital ID to establish a worldwide social credit system under the guise of convenience. We can see all of these things manifesting now as the Australian government has also introduced age bans on social media, meaning everyone in the country will need to link their ID to their online use, allowing every move to be tracked and penalised by the big brother sitting in Canberra and beyond. They haven't admitted that yet, but that is exactly what this social media age ban is about. In Albanese's most recent press conference, we witnessed potentially one of the most dystopian concepts presented to the Australian population. Mums and dads, do not fear, the onus is not on you. We, the government, will take care of your children for you. In the famous words of Ronald Reagan, the most terrifying words you will ever hear are, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help." What makes this worse is that the reference here is taking the onus away from parents and inserting the government over the children. We've seen this happen in Australia before under other forms, under the guise of trans rights and other educational issues, where the parents are generally unable to raise their own children how they see fit, even facing prison time in the state of Victoria if they try to intervene with the state becoming the child's parent. Australia must follow in the footsteps of a free society like America. The people must apply maximum pressure to their politicians like never before. The reason these public servants are able to put food on their tables is because of the hard-working people of the country who pay their wages. They have a roof over their heads because of us. It's time to remind them of that. The minimum human right afforded to every human being is the freedom to think and speak with no restriction. Otherwise, that person is a slave. Australia is not a country of slaves. It does not belong to the WEF. It does not belong to the UN, and it certainly does not belong to any career politician who has spent their entire life suckling on the teat of the Australian taxpayer, who for the most part has never had a real job and wouldn't have the faintest idea of how to run a business, let alone a country. This tyrannical regime must come to an immediate end. I will remind Australians that Peter Dutton was originally in support of the Mis and Disinformation Bill. The Liberal Party's promises of repealing this bill if they are elected are as good as crocodile tears. If they really do oppose this bill, it needs to be the main focus of their entire campaign and every single elected and prospective member. This bill in its entirety must be abolished, burnt and turned to ash, never to be seen or reintroduced in any form whatsoever ever again. This cannot turn into a conversation about amending some parts of this bill. It is time for the Australian people to say, you serve us. We can bring up our own children. We have the right to say whatever the heck we want to you, the people whose wages we pay, and you have no authority over our thoughts and our mouths. I am calling on all Australians to make your voices heard, support the minor parties who are in opposition to this, and tell everybody you know about them. When we win this battle, we must introduce a Bill of Rights to ensure this kind of authoritarian regime never rises again. We will take back Australia, but we need all of you to rise to the occasion and demand these politicians go back to being public public servants and not public overlords.
Yes, folks, that was Maria Zeee. Thanks, Maria, for that roving report there on the Australian Misinformation Bill. Anthony Albanese can shove his misinformation bill up his fucking ass. Thanks, Maria. Thanks for explaining that. I couldn't have explained that better myself. And thanks for joining the HLR team here with your roving reporting skills. Thank you very much. This has been another Hang Loose Recluse production. Thank you. Don't forget to tell the government to get fucked. Tell them I said so. Thank you.